Welcome to the first, probably not going to be shown to anyone episode of the Jordan and Liam Untitled Terrible Idea podcast. I'm Jordan Brand.
Oh, hey. I'm Liam.
He's Liam.
That was...
That's our intro.
I played that a very long time ago. Over a year ago.
Did you make that up, or was... I don't know
made
what it
that
was.
up. It was the 21st of September.
Wait, how many drinks have we had tonight?
I don't know. Who cares?
That's
feel.
not the answer that is encouraging.
Well, if I'm not on the floor, I'm fine.
That's a good point. So yeah, we're recording a podcast. Is it a bad idea? Probably.
Well,
How many podcasts do you actually listen to?
A lot. I listen to... I can say the names of them as well.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna get sued?
Well, I'm not going to say anything about them.
Okay, then no.
And,
we're not gonna get
as
sued.
well as compliments.
Well, okay, then go.
Well, we just listened to the Auntie Donna podcast together.
I feel like we shouldn't say we just listen to a podcast together while we're recording a podcast.
Well, that one was just 30 minutes of rapping.
That's true. They were just... I think we just listened to
30 minutes of rapping.
Amazing rap album by Auntie Donna.
Better than Kendrick Lamar and that we'll ever do.
Yes.
And then I listened to...
we're going to get now sued by Kendrick Lamar. Keep going.
I listened to the official podcast, Well, I can't even say their name because they're getting sued by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Wow.
Not sued.
So my fears of us getting sued are not unfounded.
No, so...
They're very well founded by Gwyneth Paltrow.
There's an online group called Goop. And...
Yeah, it's Gwyneth Paltrow's special beauty salon.
They never knew about Gwyneth Paltrow until they got a cease and desist letter.
I don't know who they are.
Well...
They're the podcast you're not allowed to say the name of.
Well, no.
Because they're getting sued.
Exactly. And then I listened to the Misfits podcast. And then I listened to some D&D stuff on the side.
I don't listen to podcasts.
No.
And now I'm starting one.
Well, podcasts are people talking, and that's what we're doing.
We are talking. We're also drinking. This is our sponsored section. Welcome to the sponsored section.
Not sponsored.
Welcome to the sponsor. We're sponsored by... alcohol! Come and get your alcohol. We're drinking.
Really sad.
This is a bad podcast. This is a bad podcast.
Jordan, you keep on saying that it's going to make people stop
Jesus
listening.
Christ. This is the first episode of the podcast and we're already off the rails.
Exactly. Well, okay, to tell you the gist of what's happening and the context of why we're here.
I don't think there's any context.
I texted Jordan one day saying, let's start a
week ago.
podcast, because I was in a good mood.
A fucking week ago.
Yeah, and anyway, so he's at my house right now. I've got a pet bird who's a little bit away from us.
If you're hearing strange noises,
it's either me or the bird.
it's probably Liam.
It's probably me.
We're drinking soda and vodka.
Blood orange
soda.
soda.
And vodka.
Actually, that's a really interesting point. Reminds me of...
Is it?
You know Limmy's show?
Yeah, no, I've heard of it.
Have you seen his Americanisms sketch?
I started with I haven't seen it.
So you know how, like, you just call this soda, and I usually call it soft drink?
Yes.
That's like an example of an Americanism.
Oh, shit. Okay, I want to bring this up on the podcast because I was talking to you about it earlier, and I'm still... Now, because I'm going to talk about this, I want us to put this online so I can get people's reactions.
Yeah.
Okay, tasty cheese... and cheddar. He's laughing because I already told him because it's important. Tasty cheese and cheddar cheese are the same thing. I just found this out like a week ago.
Would you like me to go to my fridge and check?
No, you can't leave the spot. We're doing the podcast.
Well, they can hear me from the fridge.
You're not going to have a fridge every episode of the podcast. No, don't go.
Yes, I am. They can hear me.
I'd like our listeners, if they exist, to know that we will not be doing every episode of this podcast in Liam's lounge room. We're going to do it somewhere else where he can't just go to the fridge and get cheese.
I just found something amazing. Alright, Jordan.
Oh, God.
Here is Australian light... I don't know why it's Australian. Australian light tasty cheese and cheddar.
And this is also light cheese. They're the same cheese.
Exactly.
Why are they called different things?
I don't know, more appealing?
We don't have an answer for this. Why is it called tasty? That's the worst... Okay, I'm going to go on a rant. This is a Jordan rant.
Jordan rant.
This is... Tasty cheese is the worst name for a cheese. It's just, if you say to someone who doesn't know what tasty cheese is, I bought some tasty cheese today, they'll be like, oh, what the fuck did you buy? What did you buy? And you'll be like, tasty cheese. And they'll say, what kind of cheese? And you'll say, tasty. And they'll be like, fuck you!
You're very loud. Jordan's having a lot of alcohol. Anyway, so...
That's my life.
To say something similar is saying, like, here's smoked salmon, but I'm going to call it... I'm just going to call it smoky salmon. Like, we know it tastes smoky, but what is it? I don't know what smoky salmon is.
I'm so confused by this
Talking
tangent.
about any salmon. If you say tasty cheese, who knows?
Where is this tangent gone? Where is this gotten us?
Jordan,
Okay.
you're overthinking everything.
Liam thinks that I overthink everything. He's right, but should we tell them like why we're not.
No.
But should we tell them why we're qualified to do a podcast? Or like what we do? What do we do that's not this podcast? Like
No one is qualified to do a podcast.
That's true, except Mark Maron. Mark Maron's pretty great.
I don't know who that is.
He's a comedian. That was the wonderful sound of us simultaneously drinking.
That was fantastic.
I think that worked out really well.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about ourselves.
All right, we went to high school together.
We met in high school.
We met in high school doing
drama.
Not just doing drama, doing the school musical.
Oh,
which I think tells you a lot about us.
That was yeah.
Which I think we can't talk about that too much.
No, I don't.
Because we'll upset people, including ourselves. Mostly ourselves. We'll upset ourselves.
Because it was a good time.
It was a good sad time.
And I don't know.
But no.
Anyways.
We're talking about our origin story. We met in high school. We both went to high school together, all boys high school. And we were both drama nerds and regular nerds and loved music and acting and all kinds of weird shit. And now we're both in uni. And I'm at a film school and I'm studying filmmaking. And Liam is studying
arts degree. Hell
arts.
yeah!
Well, we're both doing arts degree. But
shout out to the arts degrees.
Woo! We'll be in debt forever and never make money. But you're specifically studying like music and photography and stuff.
Well, fun stuff. My university has gone. We like money so much. So if you started in 2019 and you chose a major. And you chose any degree, we're changing everyone's degrees and everything of what everyone does next year. And we'll let all of you know in December. Merry Christmas. And that was me. So I was originally doing a degree where I could do film work and media, more media than film, I don't know, and music and theatre. And they were like, no one is doing your major, but even though you've already chosen it, we're going to change everything. And now I'm just doing music.
So now we definitely can't put the podcast on the internet because we'll get sued.
I never said my uni.
I know, but they'll kick you out.
Well, no, they're what? They got my money.
No, that's true. That's true. Universities are for profit now. It's sad. I'm mad at my grandparents because they went to university for free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you.
Anyways, I'm doing. Funny thing is, I'm doing major in music and a minor in radio and podcasting, and this is. I've just recognised a connection between these two things.
I'm being fully serious here. At no point has he mentioned that in the past.
Because it's very new.
At no point have you mentioned you're doing a podcast and now we're doing... I feel like this is just... You're going to take this and you're going to use it for your
sound work because
degree.
that sort of sums up both things very well. They're both with sound and they're both with work. The sound work.
Yeah. So this is obviously, while we're recording the first episode, the perfect time to work out what are we going to do on this podcast. Obviously, on this first episode, we're going to do nothing, because it's just two of us sitting in a lounge room with a bird. But should we have, like, guests, like our friends who are funny or have talents or...
Whatever we want to do.
That's the premise. That's the title of the first episode.
Whatever we want to do.
That's not the title of the show. That's the title of this episode is Whatever We Want to Do.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, before you start talking about the podcast, talk about yourself. Because people are going, here's someone whose uni has sort of rear-ended them. And then here's this other person who...
Who's this stranger?
Who... Hey,
Who's this stranger with an attractive
the word
voice?
alcohol, and that's it. We want to know more about
Honestly,
them.
I think that's most of me. My name is I'm Jordan. Why did I introduce myself again? Jesus.
People forget.
I assume our names are going to be something. All right. I'm Jordan. I'm at a film school that I'm not going to divulge now because I'm scared. But I'm at a film school. I'm studying. Thank you. Liam kindly is pouring me another drink.
I'm very kind.
It's got lots of vodka. I'm at a film school. I'm studying.
You've got Agram at the bottom. You got blood orange soft drink.
I was talking about my dreams.
And I was talking about soft drink.
My God. I'm studying writing and directing. So I write films. I direct short films. You've never seen any of them unless you're my friends or family, which I assume are the only people who are going to be listening to this.
I haven't seen it.
You worked on one of them.
Am I your friend?
You worked on the only one I've ever won any... Oh, not the only one. You worked on, like, the one I went to America and won awards for.
Well, tell everyone about America.
America. Should we... Wait. I don't know if people will know we're Australian. Can they tell from our accents that we're Australian? Or are we just going to sound like weird mishmash people?
Well, we sound white.
That's true.
That cuts out half
Which is
the world.
fascinating because you're black. I'm sorry. Can I rescind that statement? I'm gonna get hate mail.
Yeah,
we're white. We're both white.
Jordan's
I'm Jewish.
being funny, and then everyone's.
I'm bad at being funny.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Liam is white. I'm white and Jewish. That's like extra white. And now I've lost all our Jewish viewers too. So that's fun.
Should we just keep a tally of what like?
This is a really bad podcast.
Jordan.
I keep saying it because it's true. We're 12 minutes in and we've already lost all our listeners.
That's not how... To get a good podcast, you don't keep on saying this podcast sucks because then no one's going to watch it. People are going to go, if they don't enjoy what they're doing, then why should we watch it?
I'd like to point out we don't know what we're doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm having a chat with Jordan.
Should we do like a bit? Should we do like a... That's the worst. I just was like, we should do an organic, funny thing.
Well, that's what we're doing right now. We're very organic. You plucked me out of the ground this morning. You dusted me off, and now you put me in your lounge room. My lounge room. You put me in my lounge room. I'm organic.
That's a
I'm
great
fresh.
metaphor.
You dust me off like a nice carrot.
I don't know what you mean by it, but it
Slice
sounds
me
great.
up and put me in a stir fry.
Are you a radish?
Rustle me. I'm a carrot, you dumb...
Oh, okay. I thought... Because you said... Washed me off, and I'm like, it's radishes. We're drunk.
I'm not drunk.
You're tipsy.
I'm not tipsy.
You're fully sober.
I will walk in a straight line.
You're fully sober. For our listeners, seeing as this is an entirely audio
I'm walking in a straight line.
Liam's walking in a straight line. You don't have proof because you're listening, but I can assure you, he's walking in an almost straight line.
That's great.
I'm at film school. I'm a writer and director. And we met through acting.
Yeah.
And we've done plays and things together, and now we're doing this thing.
Yeah. If it's not clear, if you do arts, your heydays will be in high school. For me.
I pray to God my heyday is not in high school because I was bad and hated everything.
They didn't really accommodate for me.
I'm still bad and I hate everything. So that hasn't changed. I think we actually went to a pretty good high school for arts. We went to a public all-boys Australian high school that had like a musical every 2 years and they had a drama course and a good drama teacher.
If you
a great drama teacher. I'm saying that in case she listens.
If you didn't tell anyone we went to a public school, I bet you more than half would go, it's private. If you just said...
White arty kids.
If you just said, I go to a high school where they accommodate a lot for music and other art-based things and media, and they have a musical, and they have 2 ovals, you would think they go to a private school.
It sounds like a private school. It wasn't a private school, but it was a bit like a private school because it was a wealthy enough area and a very conservative area.
Oh, yeah.
And we're sitting in it right now because we're recording in your lounge room.
Yeah. My parents are lovely people.
Can we not talk about parents on this first episode?
Well, I just want... Well,
I mean, they're lovely people.
Yeah, and
but,
I'm working minimum wage and...
And I'm not working at all.
Yeah, that's the high.
I don't have a job, and Liam has a job, and I'm moving into an apartment.
Can I talk about my work for a second?
Yes, but provided you don't name
Jordan, it's okay. I won't talk their name. I work at Koost Juice.
He works at Koost Juice.
Koost Juice.
Koost Juice.
They're very well known, Koost Juice.
This is how their advertisement sounds.
And
come on down to Koost Juice, where it's all organic and fresh. We'll pluck you out of the garden, put you in a milkshake. Koost Juice.
It's not fresh. Pretty much.
I didn't say it was true. I said that's their advertisement.
The most fresh thing about that is seeing a new customer. No, not even the new customers. All the same customers, except for the one person who comes up and goes, "What sizes do you have? Do you have large, regular, and small?" "No, we have original, medium, and junior." How patronising is it to get a junior?
I actually like that more than the new trend, which is it's large, extra large grande, because it's like, well, can I order a small? No, the small is the large now because fuck you.
Well, bar sucks. The place Bar Sucks where grandes are sold. I just never go there. And
I've been to Bar Sucks.
You should never go to Koost Juice because it is quite expensive.
We're so close to getting sued.
Well...
Like, I nearly said the actual name by accident just then.
Well, I could just scream over the top of it. That's fun.
That's true. Hey, yeah, because we can just change anything we want about this podcast.
Yeah,
that's the great part. We can just rewrite history.
We could make it echo so much it sounds like we're in the back of like an alleyway.
I could go on an incredibly long tangent about Palestine and Israel, and we could just cut it out. In fact, I just did, and you don't know.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the world.
We're not going to talk politics.
No, we're not. No. I don't want to talk politics.
Can I talk about my one theory about Australia? About Australian culture?
Okay.
So my theory, this is the serious part of the podcast. Welcome to the serious part of the podcast. Liam, could you play some serious music?
Yeah, I'll
Liam's our in-house DJ.
I'm in-house DJ.
As in, he has his phone. And
going through my voice memos.
He's got his phone, and I'm recording on my phone, so that automatically makes him the in-house DJ.
He's
An individual's emotional discovery of their impending death triggers a realization of the greater impact on society. Michael Gale's 1986 Away conveys this idea through Tom, who overcomes the struggle of his...
We're not playing your entire essay. That was the intro to the serious part of the podcast. Welcome to the serious part of the podcast. This is my theory about Australian culture, is we have a culture of apathy.
What's that mean? What's apathy mean?
Apathy is just not caring. We don't care. We don't care about shit.
I feel that it's... A lot of our indigenous culture, which was here before us, is being sort of thrown out the window in this very
definitely
Western political system, which I never see justice for the indigenous people.
And I think that's part of the result of an Australian, like a westernized, modern Australian culture of we don't care. We not to care.
Don't say the culture doesn't care, because you're assuming that everyone under that culture, including us.
No, but I mean as a general like Australians, I think I'm comparing us to Americans here because it's a global world, and it's the easiest thing is to compare us to Americans.
We're more aware than America of our indigenous peoples.
That's true, but I think like Australians, I think, care less about like who's in power, who is what's happening to who, what's happening. I think sometimes that's a good thing. That's my quandary, my moral quandary, is sometimes I think that apathy is a good thing. In Australia, we don't have these as the same massive abortion debates as they do in America. We don't have people picketing abortion clinics as much. We still have it, but we don't have it as much because I think I think there's a culture in Australia of like, well, do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah. But at the same time, that's the one side of it. That's probably, in my opinion, the good side of it.
Doing
but
what you want, I think, in some cases, it's interesting to me between a white society and Indigenous society. There's a double standard.
Just quickly,
if you got a
thin line, you're walking
on thin ice.
Just a thin line.
I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, don't fall off. I'm just saying, don't fall off this thin line.
No.
You're on a tightrope. You're the guy who walked on the tightrope between the 9/11.
Okay, I won't say anything specific. I'm just saying that some actions that white society does are frowned upon in other societies, but not in a white society. That's all I'm saying. Things like alcohol. That's it.
Yep. And that's where we're cutting out the last 5 minutes.
And we're going to clap so there's a big sound line so we know
there's going to be a clap right now so that we know which part of the podcast we're cutting out.
1. No, you have to clap.
I have to clap as well. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh fuck, we frightened the bird.
Hello back.
Welcome back. We haven't been talking about race or politics.
So okay, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
So we just had a serious talk, and you just
Jordan.
I'm just gonna say, you heard the start of my essay and then a loud clap, and we're just gonna say that we went on a tangent.
We have 8 minutes left.
We have 8 minutes left. Well, remember.
Okay, I want to talk about a topic.
Jordan, you're restraining yourself to a time limit. Hello, bird. You just heard my bird. My bird's name is CJ, and she will be the MC of this entire
episode.
So she'll sit in a cage. Don't worry. She's usually on my shoulder, but she goes to the bathroom a lot, and I have a shirt I like on. So she's going to sit in there for a little bit while we're doing this podcast.
I will say, I think we should keep this to half an hour, because otherwise it's going to get very messy. But I wanted to bring up a topic that is near and dear to both of us, which is Dungeons and Dragons. We both love D&D.
I like D&D. Jordan got me a present. Can I get my present?
It's a podcast. It's an audio
I'm
medium.
walking.
They can't
to
see.
Going to get my
Liam's
item.
getting his present that I gave him.
To get my item.
Liam's getting his Christmas present that I gave him, so that he can show it to the people on the podcast. Jesus Christ. Well, why did we do this? Why did we do this again?
Here it is.
For our audio listeners, which is all of you, Liam went to his room, tried to find his present, walked back empty-handed, and found it on the table right next to us.
So it's this thing called Elfin Blue Steel, and he's a gunslinger.
We could have cut out the last minute and a half by just saying, I got Liam a D&D figurine.
This really does encourage me to do... So in Dungeons and Dragons, or what we have played, I've never done the movement thing. But this encourages me to try the movement thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand what Dungeons and Dragons is, it's pretty much...
It's a fantasy tabletop RPG. That doesn't mean anything to people who don't know what those words mean.
I'll simplify that into normal people words.
Thank you.
So, Dungeons and Dragons is a game where there's one person who's narrating a story, and there's other people who are playing through that story while the person narrates what's going on, and actions are told by a dice. So, you can roll a dice... And you can say, does this happen? And the narrator will tell you what happens.
I think the reason Liam's explanation slowed down is I picked up his phone.
Yeah,
I passed it to him to put the password in. Yeah. I was trying to be really smooth and subtle.
What did you want to look at in my phone?
I wanted you to cue up some more music. I want us to cue up music because we've only got 5 minutes left, and I want us to
Jordan, you're
play
overthinking everything. Let's enjoy the podcast.
I know, but I want it to be good. I want it to be a better podcast.
Jordan, this is the first podcast.
I know, but I'm striving for it to be better because I'm neurotic and that's
Jordan,
my character. That's why we bounce off each other.
This is for discussion after the podcast. You don't keep on saying the podcast is bad. We need to do better. We just enjoy ourselves. But you're overthinking everything.
Oh, I thought that was like my gimmick.
We're drinking next to blocks of cheeses on a table, Jordan.
But do I need a gimmick? I thought I needed a gimmick.
No, I thought we were just being ourselves.
Oh, well, my gimmick is that I'm myself, and myself is deeply neurotic.
Yeah, I'm annoying. I'm kidding.
I was convinced.
But anyway, this figure, let me narrate to you what the person looks like.
Can you do it in like a cool voice?
Where's the microphone on this?
It's at the bottom. The microphone is going up to his mouth.
Hello.
Jesus.
This is the figurine segment. This person has hair longer than me, and if you don't know what I look like, then this person has hair down to their shoulders. That's longer than my hair.
But not by much.
Not by much. I need to say that. Not by much. Looks like they have a hat on their back, which is on top of a cape, and a leather jacket, which they have on. And there's some other stuff, but...
Oh my god, Johnny Cash, thank you for joining us. It's wonderful that you're a guest on our very first episode.
That reminds me
Thank you, Johnny Cash.
That just reminds
He
me
just walked
of...
away.
That reminds me of the movie Logan. Just Johnny Cash.
You know that what's interesting, this is not interesting. The director of Logan directed a movie about Johnny Cash just before that. That wasn't actually interesting.
No.
I set it up like it was, and then it wasn't.
What's your favourite moment that's ever happened in a Dungeons and Dragons session?
I think it's too long a story. It's gonna be all right. Fine, I'll tell. It's gonna be boring though. It's gonna be a boring story for the podcast.
Jordan. Who cares about a time limit? As long as we're having fun. No podcast is exactly 30 minutes.
Okay, fine. It's boring. My main problem is it's a boring story when I
Okay,
tell it. It's fun when it happens.
Give
but
me
it's-
the short things because...
Okay, you know it. I'm going to tell it, but you know it already because you were there. We were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and there were three of us.
Oh.
You see? That's why, because you know what the story is.
I know how to tell this simply.
No, because now it's my story.
No.
You asked me a story.
Sharing is caring.
You
It's
asked
our
me for a story. You asked me for a story,
Okay,
and now I need
say
to
a
tell it.
story.
All right, I'm going to tell my wonderful story. I flip-flopped. It's a wonderful story now. So we were playing, there were three of us, we were playing Dungeons & Dragons, and Liam was a dwarf with the power... Thank you. With the power to talk to animals, and he had
Not really.
With the power to communicate with animals then. Can I just tell the story?
My ability was very poor.
He had the ability to, communicate with animals, and he had these two pet animals. And one was a snake, and one was an eagle. And the three of our characters were in a cave.
Okay.
A huge cave, and we were right at the entrance of the cave. And there were a whole ton of goblins in the cave. Because it was their den or whatever. And right in the middle, ripped straight from the Hobbit, I was about to say Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's The Hobbit, was the Goblin King, and he's this, big, nasty-looking bastard.
I'm
Liam,
Goblin King.
thank you, Goblin King, for writing down the words, "I'll act as the Goblin King" on a note and showing it to me.
Yes, I'm the Goblin King.
So, the Goblin King is sitting right in the middle of the chamber.
I'm sitting in the middle of the chamber.
And our three intrepid heroes are sitting on the edge. And Liam's character says, "I know what I'll do."
I know what I'll do.
Are we going to do this?
Yes, because I'm a dwarf.
Okay.
In my character's a
Liam
dwarf.
says, "I know what I'll do. I'm going to get my eagle."
And it's gonna carry a
This is my
snake
story.
over to the Goblin King and drop it on the Goblin King. The Goblin King is gonna go,
Oh no, what is this? I'm being poisoned and I'm dead now.
and then they're dead.
And so that was Liam's plan. So our dungeon master gets the dice and she rolls to see if Liam manages to successfully communicate with his eagle that they should pick up his snake, fly it to the Goblin King and drop it and poison him.
Just to clarify, the person who narrates in D&D, whenever you roll a dice, they'll have an amount of numbers,
I think most people
sometimes
know
off the
how that
spot, about what number you'll need or higher to get this done, and it's usually on a 12-sided dice.
20-sided dice.
20-sided dice. I said the wrong words. I'm very sorry.
Anyway, so to roll to see if he manages to do it, she rolls a natural 1, and that's the lowest, and the eagle picks up the snake, flies towards the Goblin King, and eats the snake in midair, and then drops to the ground and alerts everyone to our presence.
And that's the end of the story. And,
That's the end of the fucking terrible story.
Were you and me dead by the end?
No,
Liv?
you were passed out,
I
and
was
Liv
passed
was
out.
passed out, and
Yeah.
I was running out of an exploding cave carrying
Yeah.
both of you on my arms because
Just-
Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
Just think of Michael Bay, and that's
It was
like,
Michael Bay. It was
it's
Michael
Michael
Bay.
Bay with Lord of the Rings.
I kept rolling nat 20s at the end.
He kept on rolling that 20s
It was great.
at the end.
It was great.
Well, there you go.
So that's... Do you want to cue up some music so we can do an outro?
Well, I can...
we did an intro. I want us to do an outro.
I want to... Yeah, we can do an outro to this...
Can we sing to the outro?
No.
Oh.
How dare you?
I wanted us to do a song.
How very dare you?
Play the track!
Yeah, just a second. Let me just...
We're going to cut this part out.
This is from
This
the
is
24th of
This is
July,
the part we're cutting out.
2018. Let me play it.
Jesus.
Fun fact, I played that
I thought
song...
you were going to keep... I was about to start singing.
Well, I played that song to determine my future under what Australia has an ATAR. And they just go, will you fail at life? And I played that song and they said I won't.
Really
So-
upset. You cut that off right before I was about to start singing.
Well, do you know all the words to Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder?
I sure don't. This is the first episode up. Just play it again from the start. I'm not gonna sing. I just want to. Okay. What? Okay, Liam's actually going to his piano, which again won't happen every episode. But he's going to his piano and he's gonna play.
Yeah. Let me see if I... So this is the thing.
Jesus.
I played this over a year ago.
This is a.
And I sort of picked it up yesterday after
Weird
watching an
podcast.
episode of Black Books, which we will talk about next episode.
Will we? Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about Black Books next episode. I've seen 2 episodes of Black Books.
Yeah.
You can keep playing. Liam is playing us out of the first episode of Liam and Jordan's podcast. The We Shouldn't Have a podcast. That's not what it's going to be called.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening. I'm sorry.